Hello,
Neil.
everybody. I know that Beck is streaming and I am taking over his stream for a second, but welcome to a very quick, hopefully quick, we don't know, video about the upcoming changes on 12.15 to standard. Yeah, and I'm here with my good buddy, CyanSheepies. How's it going, dude?
Hello. 12:15. Oh, that's the date the patch is coming out.
That's tomorrow,
Like it's
yeah.
patch 9.2, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're seven. My game is actually seven patches behind. I'm somewhere in
Oh, okay, I see.
on Goro, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you really are.
It's close, right? Like seven expansions ago would be Skullomance, Ashes, Dragons, Uldum's, Shadows. Oh, I'm in Boomsday. That's where I'm at. Which is a really boring
Okay,
meta to
I
be in.
believe you.
It's a boring meta.
Got lost in the jungle. Exactly, that's what happened. Is your name George? Sam, is your name George?
Uh, that's my third
Or
middle name.
okay, I see. Okay, you wanna kick us off with these card changes?
Yeah, we got some nerfs. Alec Dawson, who I will drop in my description, kind of did like patch notes on why they're changing these cards. But we're gonna start from the top with Blade Dance. So Blade Dance
A
is
lot
going.
of Demon Hunter nonsense.
Yeah, this is all like mostly targeted Demon Hunter and a little bit Hunter, but even though there's some crossover in those decks, this was mostly targeted towards Demon Hunter. So the first
Mhm.
one's Blade Dance. It's going from a 2 mana spell to a 3 mana spell. Blade Dance deals damage to 3 enemy minions equal to your hero's attack. So what do you think of this?
Pretty big nerf. Having it at 2 mana, you were really really able to like weave it into stuff and kind of just do it at the end.
Yeah,
I don't think it's bad again, but I don't know. I think in total, I think Soul Demon Hunter's still a deck. I
yeah,
think it's less good, but this was directed at Soul Demon Hunter. It's harder to like weave in that last Twin Slice or something. So it's gonna make the things a lot harder to. Your Blade Dance is a lot harder to get off, I feel.
yeah. When you're not, when I mean, like Skull is still a card. Skull didn't get touched, but if you don't have Skull in your hand, you can't go like Marrow Slice or Twin Slice, deal 6 to 3 minions on 7. You have to wait 8, and those, and I think like those 1 mana off. Those turns are important. If you can't clear something big without your face, that's gonna add up over time, I think.
Yeah, no. I think it's not a super big nerf, but I think it's a noticeable one that's
Yeah,
going to impact.
it's
That
it
definitely have an impact
it
there.
it definitely pushes Demon Hunter towards more of a I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but like a place that seems like it's more in line with what the rest of the deck's power levels are. Like Blade Dance for 2 mana is a board clear for 2 mana, and no classes should be doing that.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty insane.
It's just it's I mean it's still gonna be a good card. It's just gonna if you don't have the mana, you're gonna be really inefficient on your turn, and probably take face damage, which should be a weakness of Demon Hunter using your face to trade into those minions.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
Blade
I
Dance, really good card. Glad it's getting nerfed.
yeah, really good
I
card.
think
Still a
it's
good
still playable.
card, just not broken good card.
Mm-hmm.
So next on my
I
list, sorry, go ahead.
Charge Shatter Mystic.
Yeah, Shard Shadow Mix is the other Soul Demon Hunter card getting hits. It is originally a 3 mana 3/2. It's going to a 4 mana 3/2, and its battle cry stays the same. Destroy a soul fragment in your deck. Deal 3 damage to all other minions.
Yeah. Uh, this is nice.
Yeah, like this is exactly where this card should be.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just this just makes sense.
it's Dustbreaker, but it's why do we need a 3 mana Dustbreaker? The answer is we don't need a 3 mana Dustbreaker.
We need a 4 mana Duskbreaker.
Yeah, I mean the Dustbreaker was one of the best cards in the game. We don't need a better version of that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. No. I think it makes sense. I think this card's still really good.
Yeah,
You wanted to play it on 3 a lot in Soul Demon Hunter in aggressive matchups, but you're just gonna really need that early board presence now again, and you're just gonna have to wait a turn to coin it out now. So it's a turn slower, which is pretty bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I think it's still a pretty good card.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great card. It's Dustbreaker, again, really good card. I think so. We can talk about this a bit more in the end of this, but I do think that both these nerfs really make Soul Demon Hunter more susceptible to aggressive decks, which is good because Demon Hunter having no real weaknesses was an issue.
Yeah.
And also Blade Dance stops you from killing tall minions as easily.
Yep. All minions. And early board presence.
Yeah.
Before turn 3 is going to be really good against Demon Hunter still.
Which I mean, it should be. It should have a weakness, and the weakness shouldn't be your opponent getting 45 armor and then you not being able to hit them because they have a bulwark. But for Soul Demon Hunter, I am all for all of these changes that they are doing.
Yeah, no, I think these all make sense. All right, Dreadlord's Bite. I don't think we need Soul Shard Mystic. It just went up 1.
Yeah.
Glad. Good to see it. I think it's fine.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, Dreadlord's Bite was a 3-mana 3/2 weapon with Outcast, deal 1 damage to all enemies. Now it is a 3-mana 2/2 weapon, deal 1 damage to all enemies if you outcast it. I mean, it's weaker. It's better. Not better, but it's no longer swipe plus possibly 1 extra damage wherever it goes.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it was swipe plus 3 extra damage.
Yeah, I mean,
2 turns.
This card was part of the reason why Aggro Demon Hunter was so good because Aggro Demon Hunter? Yeah, Aggro Demon Hunter was so good because you could just outcast and then take out other aggressive decks and still push all your damage, which aggro decks shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. So it's just a 2 damage nerf overall, so it goes from 6 damage to 4 damage. I feel like Soul Demon Hunter was really like if they didn't get the Pole Celt, they were kind of scrapping there.
Hunter? You mean Aggro Demon Hunter?
Aggro Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
So 2 damage I think is going to be pretty big difference. It'll be noticeable again, but if they Pole Celt still, you're dead. This card having 1 less attack, even though they go, Altruist Skull, card, it hits you for 20. Still gonna die to that.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about Skull later. I don't want to talk about it right now. But, I mean, this isn't 2 damage for the game. It's 4 damage, which, admittedly, as Aggro Demon Hunter, that's 4 turns of hero power, and that's 4 turns you're not killing the opponent.
Yeah, I think it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah, I think there are other ways you can touch Aggro Demon Hunter that they might look at in the future, but I think this right now was the most glaring one because it just stopped other aggressive decks from existing.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, I think it's a good nerf. I think it makes sense. I think Aggro Demon Hunter might still be a thing. Well, we'll see.
I think it has potential, but I think some of the next one I want to talk about really kind of puts it back a bit. I think it's kind of I don't want to say sleeper nerf, but I think it is a bigger nerf than people may give it credit for, and that's Voracious Reader. Going from 2 mana to 3 mana at the end of your turn, draw cards so you have 3 cards in your hand. That's a pretty big nerf.
Yeah. This card had a good stat line at 2 mana, but at 3 mana this is a garbage stat line.
Yeah, also, you can't just dump... If you get this in your opening hand, whether you mulligan it or keep it, and you're on coin, you can play this out on 3 and just draw new cards. You can't really do that anymore, which is good. And you can't... Usually, what I would end up doing when I was playing Aggro Demon Hunter is I would have this on 4 with another 2-drop, and that would be the 2 out of 3 cards in my hand. I dump those and then draw. You can't do that anymore either. So it just kind of takes away that early game refill your hand, which Demon Hunter really, really needed to scale back on.
Yeah, I think this is the bigger nerf for Aggro Demon Hunter for sure. The other decks it impacts would be Zoo Warlock, we don't see Zoo Warlock. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And then Highlander Hunter, which also got nerfed, but this card was a one of in Highlander Hunter, so it doesn't see as much. I
Yeah.
think this is maybe the most significant nerf we've seen so far.
Also, this really clogs up Demon Hunter's 3 spot, which, depending on which deck you run, has 4 or 6 other cards in that spot. So I think that. And you also can't do, like, on 3, you can't go Reader Og Merchant or Reader Sidekick, which was really powerful.
Yep.
So I think this is a really good nerf. I think that we really saw how good this card was in Darkmoon Faire rather than Skullomance, because the aggressive Demon Hunter just kind of came alive. So I think it's good to nerfing this now rather than maybe a month from now.
Yep, I think it makes sense.
The other
What's next on your list?
I'm kind of going up to Polkelt next. We'll do Bran last because, like you said in the beginning, most of the cards on this list directly nerf Demon Hunter decks. Voracious Shooter and Polkelt also kind of nerf Highlander Hunter, but we're kind of talking about the Demon Hunter aspect of that right now, so I want to keep talking about the cards in that deck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Polkelt went from a 4-mana 4/5 to a 5-mana 4/5. Again, Battle Cry. Reshuffle your deck from the highest cost to the lowest cost card. So what are your thoughts on this? This one's kind of weird.
This one is weird because it's still like that effect is really powerful. It was really nice to have it a 4-mana 4/5 body because that's an insane stat line with an insane effect, and it could kind of like it doesn't have taunt or anything or rush or anything, so it's not impacting the board that much. But just having a juicy stat line really helped it kind of make up for that. Being at 5-mana, stat line's a little bit worse, and it comes out a turn later. I don't know how much it matters.
Yeah,
because like we're using it to draw Bran in Highlander Hunter and Skull of Gul'dan in Aggro Demon Hunter, which is honestly just slightly better to do this.
Yeah,
now, on 5.
You were playing Polkelt on 5 anyways, usually in Aggro Demon Hunter, unless you really just needed a body. You would just hold this till 5. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing I want to talk about. I don't want to get into the Skull discussion right now, but I do want to talk about Polkelt into Skull. This curves just really, really nicely into your combo now, which...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it changes... It doesn't do that much, because before you could have just gone Lord Keeper button, Lord Keeper 1-drop. So, like, it's kind of the same. It's worse, but it's not that worse.
It's slow... I mean, like, taking a turn off to... play Polkelt on 5 in an aggressive matchup might kill you, which could be the difference, but I don't know. This on 5 just doesn't seem like it's that big a change to me. Yeah. In either Highlander Hunter, it's either even like in Highlander Hunter or Face Hunter. This still like you would still want to play this on 5. Like 5 on Face Hunter goes into Dragon's Bane.
I think it's fine. I think it's still a good card.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing is like what you were saying. It's harder to just slam in an aggro matchup. Like you're gonna have to be ahead a little bit.
I mean like 4-mana 4/5.
Life total to tank it.
4-mana 4/5 was just like you said a good stat line, and you playing this on 4 in aggressive matchups just meant that you had a 4/5 body that usually didn't die. So. Yeah, I don't think Aggro Demon Hunter will be as good as it was, but I don't think it's going to get... I think the Reader's the biggest nerf to that deck. Not being able to draw through your deck to get to the Polkelt or the Dreadlord's Bite on turn 2 or 3 is pretty significant.
Yep.
And the last one. This one is kind of an outlier. Dino Tamer Bran has gone from 7 to 8 mana, Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon King Crush, which is an 8/8 with charge. So the reason Alec Dawson, and again, like I said, I will post his Twitter thread in my description, basically said this is like a preemptive nerf because they looked at the data and saw Highlander Hunter's matchup spread if Soul and Aggro Demon Hunter took a step back in popularity, and it was that Highlander Hunter has such a good matchup spread that it would become too powerful. So this is their way of nerfing it, which I agree with. Highlander Hunter has great matchups across the board. It doesn't really have a bad matchup except for Soul Demon Hunter and Aggro Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think 7 mana for an 8/8 with charge is really strong too. 8 mana for an 8/8 with charge is fine. I think they're a lot of these cards, they just go from wow, that's a card to like, oh, that's a card. You know, like they go from insane to like reasonable.
Yeah, like that's how I feel about Soul Demon Hunter right now. It went from, well, this deck is nuts to, okay, this deck is still good, but it's not. I don't feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle at this point.
Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna lose 100% of the time.
I do
lose 99% now.
I think now you're gonna have to change a little bit of how Highlander Hunter works. I don't think the deck is dead, but I do think that you can't just throw in face package and hope you get there. Just because 8 is a lot of mana, even if you pull Kettle on the top of your deck.
Yeah,
especially
it's a lot.
Especially because Reader's at 3 now, so you can't dump your hand with a Reader. It's gonna come down later.
Yeah, I wonder if this makes us go for a less aggressive curve for Highlander Hunter now, and you put CMAT and what's the 10 drop back in there?
The Grand Slam.
Yeah.
It
maybe.
It depends how the meta shakes out, right? Like if Evolve Shaman becomes the big deck, I guess we can start talking about that now. How we think the meta is going to shape up because we're kind of transitioning there. If Evolve Shaman, one of the decks that didn't get hit, becomes really popular, then you don't want to be a value go to turn 10 deck. You want to be a hit them in the face before they create big board deck.